Be honest with yourself. Do you think that you are a perfectionist? Because I used to think that I was a perfectionist for so many years of my life until I finally got to the realization that this thing that I called perfectionism was an excuse. It was a veil that I used to cover the fact that I was actually insecure. I was afraid to fail on the things that I was doing. I was afraid that other people were going to think that the things that I was doing were not going to be good enough. That's what I was really afraid of. I wasn't actually a perfectionist, I was insecure. But under the cover of perfectionism, now I didn't have to tell other people and myself that I was insecure. I didn't have to tell other people, oh yeah, this thing isn't done yet. I've been spending way more time on it than I should have been. I could have already finished it, but I'm afraid to fail, and I'm afraid that other people are going to say that it's not going to be good enough. So I keep working on that thing, or I just keep procrastinating on that thing. But instead of having to say that, the truth that I didn't like, I could just tell myself and other people, oh, this thing isn't done yet. It needs a little bit of more work. Because you know me, I am a supreme perfectionist. Perfection is the thing that I'm aiming for, and this thing isn't perfect yet, so I cannot release it out into the world yet. That's what I fucking taught myself. But I know now that it was not the truth. Perfection was not actually the thing that I was aiming for. Try to think of it like this, with this example. Just imagine, how crazy as this might sound, but just imagine that God himself, he would come down to the earth and he would stand right in front of you. And he would say, hey, got a deal for you. This thing that you're working on right now, if you finish it right now, today, I will give you a 100% guarantee that you will not fail. That is going to be good enough. And other people are going to think that it's going to be good enough. Other people are going to come up to you and they're going to say, hey, good job, man. That thing you did is nice. It's good. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good. Other people are going to think it's good. You are not going to fail if you finish it right now. 100% guarantee. It's good enough. Would you take that deal? Be perfectly honest with yourself. Because if I look back on the things that I had going on in my life, the situations where I told myself that I was a so-called perfectionist, right? The situations where I told myself that I was going for perfection and that's why I had not finished this thing yet. I would have fucking taken that deal. I would have. If I am perfectly honest with myself, I would have taken that deal. But this is the thing. We do not get that guarantee in life that we are going to be good enough. And so we become insecure about it. And so we start using perfectionism as a disguise, as a tool to reduce the chance of failure. Because if we keep working and working and working on something, the thing constantly gets better, and so there is a lower chance that it's not going to be good enough, right? Perfection isn't actually the thing you are aiming for. You are just aiming for the security that it's going to be good enough. But because you are so fucking insecure about it, you keep working on that thing. Or even worse, in some cases of extreme perfectionism, people just completely procrastinate on the thing. Because if you don't start doing it, you'll never finish it. You can never fail, right? So if you think about it, perfection is never actually the thing that you are aiming for. Perfectionism is a lie. It's an excuse. It's a disguise. And it's such a terrible irony because it's essentially the fear of not being good enough in life, right? But because you have the fear of not being good enough, you don't actually allow yourself to get better. Because think about it. What is the best way to actually get better? Obviously, it's not sitting around doing nothing and never starting to work on the things that you should be working on, right? And obviously, it's not spending 10 times the amount of time you should be spending on something because you are insecure that it's not going to be good enough. That's obviously not the best way to learn. A much better way to actually become better in life is to just do it and to fail and to learn from your mistakes and to pick yourself back up and to keep going. There's obviously a much better way to actually become better. First of all, the things you do are probably better than you think. They are probably done already and you're probably just being insecure. But even if the things you do, the things you create aren't good and they are complete crap, then this excuse that we call perfectionism is still holding you back. Just finishing it, learning from your mistakes will actually help you to move towards your goals. It will help you to become better much faster. So don't let perfectionism hold you back in life. You probably know it, right? You probably know how much perfectionism is holding you back. It's probably preventing you from working towards your goals. It's probably limiting the speed at which you progress towards your goals, because you could have been moving on much faster. You could have been learning from your mistakes much faster, right? You probably know that. This thing you call perfectionism is holding you back so fucking much. Don't let it. One of the most powerful things you can do to overcome perfectionism is to just be honest with yourself. Admit the fucking truth. Tell yourself, hey, I'm not actually a perfectionist. I'm just being insecure and I'm just using perfectionism as an excuse. Admit the truth to yourself. This is the first step and is going to make a huge difference. Take back control over your own life. Don't be a little bitch like I was. And sometimes still am. We all are. But we need to be honest towards ourselves and we need to overcome it.